Good. Well, looks like we're going to have a long and happy bloody...
I hope so.
No reason why we shouldn't.
It's been nearly 2 years since I first heard this recording. It's chilling, sickening even. Two men just casually discussing a woman's murder and how to cover it up. But what I've learned since I first heard it is a lot of what these men are saying is built on lies. And their recorded conversation is part of something way bigger. This tape is actually part of an enormous deception that extends around the world. And there are people who don't want me asking questions about it. But what they're hiding, I think we all have a right to know. I'm Alicia Bridges. This is Mr. Big, the latest season of Unravel. I'm standing on a street called Darling Way in a suburb of Melbourne called Narre Warren. I'm looking around and essentially I could be in a suburb in any city in Australia. Brick houses, tile roofs. Some of these places have really beautifully manicured gardens and some of them are a little unkept. Long grass in the front yards. It's what most of us are used to seeing in suburbs. But I'm here because to understand this story, to understand that tape, I have to start here. There was a massive house fire at the property across the road from where I'm standing back in 2008. And that's where this story started.
I think it was about 11:30, 12:30, somewhere around there. It was sort of late at night.
Tim Nielsen lived across the road on Darling Way. And on this night back in 2008, he was up late watching an action movie.
I'm a war buff, second war buff, so I know it was a war movie.
When suddenly a loud explosion went off.
And I thought, what the hell is that? It sounds close. But I just sitting here thinking, hang on, that's not on the TV. So I just went to the blinds, pulled them apart, and I'm looking at straight at the house.
His neighbour's house, the one just across the road.
And I just see a glow inside, and then some flames. I'm thinking, shit, the house is on fire. And then some flames. I'm thinking, shit, the house is on fire. I just raced here to the phone, rang 000, got the fireys. Rang 000, got the fireys, and then went through the door, ran across the street.
Tim thought his neighbour might still be inside, so he rushed towards the fire to help.
So I started to move up to go into the house, to kick the door and go in. Just getting to the lounge room window. I was just getting to it when it exploded. It sort of knocked me back. And flames and glass horizontally came out and across my face to the fence. My eyebrows and hair and face singed.
Tim tried to get closer, but the fire was just too intense. There was nothing he could do.
I remember it very clearly because it was raining. The heat was that intense that the rain was turning to steam over the house. And I'm just standing there thinking, I can't get into this bloody house.
In a place not far from Darling Way, Andrew Davies' pager was pinging like crazy. He was a volunteer firefighter with the local brigade, so it was like an immediate call to action.
Yeah, it's a fast drop everything. You don't even turn the TV off or anything like that. You're just out the door and you go.
Soon Andrew and a crew of firefighters were hurtling towards the fire. They'd heard there might be people stuck inside the burning house.
You get shivers. There's a lot of adrenaline going through the body as well.
As he got closer to the scene, Andrew looked to the sky for signs of the fire.
I remember seeing a bit of a glow we knew that, yeah, it was all hands on deck when we got there.
The scene was chaotic.
We could see the flames coming out of the building already. There was a lot of smoke. There was quite a few people around as well. I reckon between 50 and 100 people. They were shouting at us that there was people inside.
2 of Andrew's team got into breathing gear and ran inside the house to check for survivors. But it was no use. It was too dangerous and they couldn't find anyone inside. And soon the whole place went up in flames. Andrew and his crew fought the fire from the yard, but by the time the fire died down, the house was a smouldering wreck.
And then a couple of firefighters and myself, we walked around the back end of the house to have more of a look through that back window. And one of our firefighters was a paramedic, and she sort of pointed to us, "What's that?" And that was the first sign that we sort of picked up that, yeah, maybe there was someone in there. And we were all sort of standing there for a bit going, is it not? And then we're going, yeah, we're pretty sure it is.
Andrew and his crew had found a body.
And that's where we sort of all switched to, okay, this whole area is completely cordoned off now. And it brings a very somber mood across everyone straight away.
We saw the body being taken out, you know, in the bag and the gurney. Nobody deserves that to happen to them. Yeah, nobody deserves that.
Very severe damage to the front part of the house where the deceased person has been found. The roof has been severely damaged and all the internal furniture of the house has been consumed in the fire.
One of the first things I wanted to do when I started this investigation was to talk to the family of the woman who was killed in that fire. But the fire happened such a long time ago, they weren't easy to find. It took months of searching and calling wrong numbers, leaving voicemail messages, until eventually one of them called me back. It took me a second to switch on my recorder. Like, I understand that it probably comes as a shock and it probably comes out of the blue. So, I appreciate you calling me back.
That's okay.
It was Nathan Cook's mum who was found in the wreckage of that house fire. Her name was Mary Cook. She was 38 years old. The night she died, her kids weren't at home. They were all staying with friends or partners. Nathan was at his girlfriend's place.
Yeah, this year's 16 years, so I don't just take it year by year, day by day.
Yeah. How are you?
What gets me through is I just think about the good memories.
Nathan tells me his mum found joy in the simple things in life. Family, food, and music.
I remember Mum listening to ABBA, dancing around. She was always there for me and my sisters when we needed her.
He says she was unstoppable in the kitchen, and he would often find her cooking at all hours of the night.
I used to walk out and she would be making her pizzas and starting her pasta. So what are you doing at 3 in the morning? She goes, yeah, it'll be ready by dinner time.
She was also a mad Aussie Rules fan, and she loved to watch Nathan's team play.
She really liked it. She used to yell, scream. She used to say, go my son, go, 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 go.
Nathan told me this story about how his team made the grand final 3 years in a row. The first one, Nathan's team lost by just 5 points.
And instead of us being devastated and crying, she was crying.
The second one, they again fell short.
We lost. And I mean, we got fucked that year.
But the third grand final was an absolute nail-biter. And with Nathan's mum screaming support from the sidelines, his team just made it over the line. They won by 2 points. And Mary, who had a rep as the team's biggest booster, went absolutely ballistic.
Like, I've never heard anyone scream so loud. Like, I think she screamed louder than the whole football team did.
When it came time to get their premiership medals, the club had organised a special announcement Not for the players, but for Nathan's mum.
When we were getting our medals, they called Mama and gave her a medal. But the medal said Supermum. That's what it said on it. Instead of premiers, it said Supermum. And she was so happy. I don't know why she said this. She said this many years before she died. She goes, when I die, I can die with a smile on my face now.
These are the kind of good memories that Nathan chooses to focus on now. But it seems like there were also hard times in Mary's life. Others in the street remember raised voices at the house. Nathan says Mary was just misunderstood.
If Mum knew you, she would talk to you. But she could be really stern, but she didn't mean it like that. It's just the way she was.
Right, like the way she talked or something.
Yeah, it's like it seemed like sometimes she would yell at you, but she wasn't yelling at you. She was just, I don't know. Like, this is probably the most I've spoken about Mum in 16 years. I don't even know how to describe it, but her parent dies. It just feels like half of your heart's been ripped out.
I'm so sorry. It's just a horrible thing. How old were you at the time?
I was 18.
So young, eh?
Yeah.
I've spent hours walking the street where Mary used to live, talking to neighbours, people who knew her, and just trying to get a full picture of what was happening in the lead up to that night. But with all my radio gear, I stand out really badly.
Hi. Hey. I just thought I'd let you know what I'm doing in case you'd spotted me now walking up and down the street. Yeah, I was a bit like, right, what's happening? Yeah. So, I work for ABC and we're working on a series and the case that we're looking at is about across the road. Yes. Yeah, I was a kid when that happened. Would you mind talking about it? Yeah. Yeah? I just got my baby, so... Yeah. That's okay. The door's unlocked. Just go straight in. All right, thank you.
Eloise grew up living just across the road from Mary.
I mean, Mary, she was always sweet. She had long hair, brown hair. She was skinny. You know, she had big eyes. She was always a sweet lady, and she didn't have, you know, any bad bones in her body for us. None of that.
But even as a kid, Eloise had a feeling things could be hard at Mary's house.
You know, like smile. But her kids were dressed 10 times better than what she was, you know, so she sacrificed herself pretty much for her kids.
Eloise remembers it being a pretty loud house. It seems like sometimes there were quite a few people over at the house and there were some arguments. Other neighbours remember the people at Mary's house had a pretty serious feud with a guy who lived a few doors down. Eloise's mum told her to avoid Mary's place altogether.
Yeah, we were strictly not allowed to cross the road because of all those reasons.
It still makes Eloise sad to think about the night Mary died.
The first thing we noticed was just the lights of the police, ambulance and fire truck. And then
and I'm also like, it's just so foreign to me at the moment that like,
police, ambulance and fire truck. And then as soon as we opened the door, the smoke, everything like that, it was so horrific.
Police are appealing to the public for help in investigating a fatal house fire at Narrow Warren overnight. Firefighters were called to the house on Darling Way at about 1:30 this morning.
Very severe damage to the front part.
Straight after the fire, police and fire investigators trawled through the charred shell of Mary's house. They needed to work out whether the fire was suspicious.
The arson squad has declared the property a crime scene. Police would like anyone with information